I'm back. Thank y'all for tuning in. Um, I just want to say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Uh, Very grateful that you would tune in. If not, I understand. My person or the teaching that I have came across and the understanding that I've gotten of this, the religious understanding is quite different than the one that the pastor teach you. So I understand if you cannot tune in to a guy like me. I'm very controversial, so I've heard radical even. Some people call me that, friends of mine, so on and so forth, what have you. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. It's part two. Religion develops insanity. I'm gonna be walking you through some more slides of some idiotic understandings of religion, which you and me, excuse me, we thought were real. We thinking this is a real understanding of human life. I'm going to show you historically that it's all incorrect and that it isn't. None of this stuff comes from history. These are man-made creations, very modern and things of that nature. So we're going to get to some slides. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up my monitor, make sure we on. I'm here. Lil Kenny Russell, Kanum Kansua Moon. I'm here. When I'm here, to the speaker get near, because I'm about to drop information. I'm going to drop knowledge, and you're gonna be able to look it up. I'm gonna run it through you through the slides that I've created, of course, but it's all under. It's all from the understanding of what they. You can pull it right up online from what they're giving you. So I don't want nobody thinking I made stuff up or I put stuff together. It's not what I do. I'm showing it to you live, direct, living color. So give me a second. Direct, living color. Okay. So give me a second. Here. We live, my monitor up. So, like I said, I hope you guys had a good day. And we're going to reiterate a couple of things from last week. My phone was cutting up. It kept ringing. So let me that was my Apple Watch, actually. I'm going to turn my watch off right now. I should have did this before, but it's all good. Y'all can see. Y'all can rock with me. We doing it live. Turn that off. Okay, I already did. So I'm gonna reiterate a couple of slides from last week from Religion Develops Insanity Part One, because I was kind of running through slides. It seemed I was a little nervous. I was reading things straight live. I didn't practice it, nor do I. I don't think I need to or have to. But you're gonna see me progress as we go along. The information, like I say, I didn't attribute it, and I didn't grab a limited amount of information. I learn every day, and when I say I get information or when I say I've been studying, that's what I do. I don't have a 9 to 5 or whatever. And I don't just study for an hour at lunch. So when I say I study, I might put in 10, 15 hours or on the minimum 8 hours or 6 hours, stuff like that. I mean, I don't even think I would ever go that low, but per day. So uh, I want to just give thanks to the ancestors. A lot of the information that I have come from the ancestors. Um, Dr. Henry Clark, John Henry Clark, great man, beautiful spirit, very spiritual. Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen, it's another gentleman, ancestor. They passed away, they transitioned. Great man. A lot of the understanding and things of that nature that I have comes from these gentlemen. An elder is Dr. Walter Williams. I watch him every day in, day out. Day in, day out. I watch him because his scholarship is quite different than the other gentlemen that I named. Nothing against either one, but I prefer Dr. Williams' scholarship over anybody else's. I prefer John Henry Clark teaching over anybody else. He's very calm. His demeanor is wise. His knowledge that he assimilates to you is just it's far and beyond, man. You can understand it right there. Um, Dr. Ben, a little hard, a little uncut. A lot of people might dislike him. He say what he want. I love them all. I take my hat off to them all. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. You cannot enjoy the ground you walk on before you enjoy the people that laid down the foundation for you to walk on this ground. So I pay homage to them. I take my hat off to them. I want to salute them. You know, I just want to say thank you to the family. And there's two people I watch currently. I watch Sarah Suanseti, the general. You can check him out on his page, General Seti. I watch Young Pharaoh. Nice. I mean, these, come on, man, these fierce young brothers. You might not understand they teaching, but they teaching straight from the elders, hardcore facts. Not playing with nothing, not trying to steer you in the wrong direction from this man-made religion that the pastor, imam, or the rabbi has taught you. They coming straight down the middle, straight information. Ain't nobody playing. So, like I say, you can watch them brothers, good brothers. I watch them daily. I watch Seti every day. Pharaoh I watch here and there. And I was watching Pharaoh, little story, and he challenges people, and not challenging them. I guess he gives them a turn to come on there and put their beliefs on a broad scale, because he has a lot of followers and things of that nature and subscribers. So it's a big table. It's a big platform for a lot of people. And he was going against a guy in Christianity, and he was trying to show him these old manuscript, Greek manuscript Bibles. I assumed I go there to watch Pharaoh mop the floor with these guys, but he kind of, it looked like he kind of tapped it out, or he kind of just took he took a stalemate. He took a draw, if you will, in boxing, because the guy was showing him like Greek Septuagints and Greek Bibles. Man, that stuff is man-made. Stuff is created. So there's no Bible before 1475 printed. So a lot of people say, well, what about the Dead Sea Scroll? That's a 20th century fake. Europeans made that stuff. You know what I mean? So then he was quoting the elder Walter Williams, and he didn't know about the Hagia Sophia, and he said Roman Constantine had it built in this generation. The brother was like, he didn't live in that generation. The brother knew his stuff. And Pharaoh was like, I didn't say that. He pulled it up, and he kind of threw the elder under the bus. He said, well, this is what Dr. Walter Williams said, and I go by what, you know, I can pretty much go by. Ain't no pretty much. Walter Williams said it, it's a fact. So shout out to Pharaoh. He usually do his thing, but on that one, he kind of conceded. So let's get into my slides. I'm gonna share my screen at this time, and I'm gonna just show you a couple of more idiotic understandings in religion and how you have to be insane and how religion has helped you develop that insanity. So I'm gonna share my screen at this time. Show y'all some slides and walk through these slides with y'all. So let's do it. Okay. Now, this is the title. Religion Develops Insanity 2. So, Religion Develops Insanity Part 2. So it says, religion develops insanity as well as confusion. When anyone embraces a religion of any kind, you have, for the most part, disabled your thinking. So you do not have to think, so you don't. Okay? That's just what we're going to do today. This is part 2. This is a quote from Dr. Walter Williams about facts, which are stronger than argument, more profound than reasoning, more dependable than opinion, silences disputes, supersedes predictions, and facts always ends the argument if you know the facts. Again, like I said last week, unless you're talking to a fool. So if you're talking to a fool is not going to let you give him no fact when he's standing there with his faith and belief. Because a belief, one thing about a belief, that's believing in something that's unfactual. Faith is holding on to the belief in something unfactual that you don't have, but you want to hold on to it because you believe that it's true. So those are my brief understandings of the word, but you might have something else in mind, and you can go ahead and have those. Now, this is from last week. We're going over the silly Adam and Eve, the whole thing. So Adam and Eve, you can go on, and it says at the bottom here, I raced through it. It said there is no physical evidence. Oh, I'm sorry. There is physical evidence that Adam and Eve never existed. Okay. But that's not what I wanted to use this for. And then I read it and said, I use this because it says creation myth. Okay. I missed that last week, but we're going to clean it up today. So what I wanted you to see inside of this, because from last week, I showed you a chart. It said the beginning of the world started 4004 BC from the understanding of the European. Okay. So this tells you that that isn't true. Even though you see right here, there's physical evidence this never existed. I must continue to reiterate this because you must be insane to think that this is real. Then Adam, he goes on to be 930 years old. If you think this is real, there's something wrong with you. Now, to show you that it wasn't 6,000 years ago that this story happened like they told you, I'm going to go in here and let you read and read this to you, should I say. Okay, so now, where is it at? Give me a second. We live. So let's see. Okay, it wasn't that. I'm sorry. It was the historicity. Okay, I passed the historicity and I went through it briefly and I read that it was a myth. So okay, this is what I wanted to deal with. I apologize. This is what I wanted to deal with right here. I ran through this. I didn't get to tell you about it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to read you to show you that 6,000 years of creation from the first man is incorrect. Okay, so it goes on. It's talking about the flood narrative are also understood as having been influenced by older literature. So this already saying that these myths has been uh, told already in older civilizations, and they go and they quote the Gametian people, Gilgamesh, but that's Gametian. So with scientific developments in paleontology, geology, biology, and other disciplines, it was discovered that humans and all other living things share the same common ancestors, which evolved through natural processes over billions. You hear what I'm saying? Billions, right here. The word "be" of years to form the life we see today. I read that again, just in case you're not understanding this. This is the historicity of Adam and Eve. Okay, it goes on and say they share the same common ancestor, which evolved through natural processes over billions of years to form the life we see today. Now that's from last week. I didn't get to read that. I was briefly running through them, and like I say, I didn't practice. I don't feel I have to. I know this stuff in my sleep. The slides I just read. I try to read and tell you and assimilate the information that I prepare for you on the slide. So it sounded like I was a little shaky last week and trying to give you the direct, brief, raw knowledge. But trust me, this information is not new to me. I've studied for a year straight on nothing but information, sometimes 15, 20 hours, 10 to 15 hours a day. Now, so these are some of the idiotic, insane beliefs that you have to be insane, but it's developed inside of this religion that you practice in one of the three major Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. So, and then you can go a little further, Jehovah Witness, Buddha, and all that. Just come on, it's all the same understanding. These are man-made religions. Man did not create God in his image. God did not create man in his image. I'm sorry. Man created God in man's image. So this is the Ark of the Covenant. This is a fictitious story of the Bible, but a lot of people understand every word of the Bible to be real. And like Dr. Clark said, I question the intelligence of anybody who think everything in the Bible is real or supposed to be real. And that's a hard fact. I'm sorry. My great grandmothers, my grandmothers, my mother, my father, my sisters, my nieces, everybody believes in this fictitious word of God, and God is a man. So these are two people right here. You see Europeans, always European, venerating in front of this Ark of the Covenant, an idiotic understanding. But it goes on and say, if you look at or touch this thing, it kills you. So let's walk through some of the stories. In First Chronicles 13, 9, and 10, it's out the Bible. When they came to the threshing floor of Shidon, Uzzah, this is a man, he put out his hand to hold the ark because the oxen nearly upset it. The oxen nearly made it fall over. That's what this is saying in layman's term. The anger of the Lord burned against Uzzah because Uzzah stuck his hand out, put his hand out to hold the ark. So this angered the Lord. The anger of the Lord burned against Uzzah. So he struck him down because he put out his hand to the ark. He died there before God. Okay, this is your God. A man goes to help the Ark of the Covenant. He's trying to save it. Some oxen, some animals come by, stumbling and stampeding, and he goes to help it. And it makes God mad. God goes along and saying, "You can't help me." My pastor, my ex-pastor, he preached on this. So this is being used all the time, and with theologians, pastors, bishops, what have you. This is being used in religious understandings all the time. Oh, God don't need your help. This means God don't need your help. You need the help of God. That's all good. Okay, that's your God. I don't want it any longer. I had it for all these years of my life. I was under the wrong understanding. I come up out of this darkness into the light. I'm more spiritual than ever, and I don't have to go back to these man-made laws, rituals, bylines, and guidelines that I have to follow to show me to be some moral man. Because this God is not moral. Kill a guy for trying to make sure the ark don't break. Okay, find me some morality in that. Here we go again. This is King James, 1 Samuel 16, 19. And he smote the men of Beth Shemesh because they had looked into the ark. But let me go back. Okay, I'm sorry, it's the wrong way. You got two men right here praying to it to let you know this stuff is fake. They're venerating to it right here. Okay, and you got other men on this picture where he struck Uzzah down. There was other men around, even animals stampeding around it. Nobody got struck down. Now let's continue. Because they had looked into the ark of the Lord, he smote of the people 50,000 and 60. This is all that old English, and 10 men. And the people laminated because the Lord had smitten many of people with a great slaughter. This is God just slaughtering people because he got upset. Now this is more of the layman's term. This will be New Living Translation, 1 Samuel 16, 19, the same thing. He struck down some of the men of Beth Shemesh because they had looked into the ark of the Lord. He struck down of all the people. Listen to me now. This is your God. 50,000, 70 men. And the people mourned because the Lord had struck down the people with great slaughter. I'm done. I'm done. Your God will strike down people. This was my God too. I'm not picking on you when I'm using that word, but I'm going to use it. For looking at this man-made, this is junk. What this is supposed to be is, I'll tell you what it's supposed to be. Now the story goes on in tradition. Baby Moses, he come down the Nile River in a little basket. He makes it to the Nile. He goes, and Pharaoh's daughter, the evil Pharaoh, his daughter is playing by the Nile River, picks up the basket, raised baby Moses in the house. This is how the story go now. And they make the Ark of the Covenant, which is supposed to be the basket he rode in to hold the 10 commandments God later gave him on Mount Sinai. So that's what this is supposed to be about. But they dipped the basket in gold and all that. Okay. You know tradition. If you know tradition, or if you don't, I gave you a brief synopsis of what this is, and this is fake. There's never been no Moses, especially not no baby floating down the Nile River. Come on, look it up. You can go look it up, see if there's ever a Moses in Egypt, and they have not. Archaeologists is digging through the earth trying to find it. It can't happen. Okay. The biblical account relates that approximately 1 year after the Israelites' exodus from Egypt, some more lies, there's never been no Israelites. They never had no exodus from Egypt. Okay, this stuff start with the Bible. That's the first time this stuff start with the Bible. The ark was created according to the pattern given to Moses by God when the Israelites were encamped at the foot of the biblical Mount Sinai. See? So he gets the instruction from God, hey, build this basket. That's wrong. The basket is nothing but the basket that he rode in. So this lets you know that a man is speaking for God. He go up here and get the instructions on how to build the basket. It's the Ark of the Covenant. It's the basket that this biblical Moses rode in. So we can already see that this stuff, you have to be insane. Thereafter, the gold plated acacia chest was carried by the staves. Might as well put an L right here from the understanding it's biblical, but the slaves was around. And they telling you about how they were slaved up here in Egypt. But this means staves. This means slaves, I'm sorry. They was in writing. The Levites, approximately 2,000 cubits, approximately 800 meters. They just put stuff together, and none of this don't make no sense, but you can look at it. In advance of the people, when the march or before the Israelite army, the host of fighting men. When carried the ark, the ark was always hidden under a large veil made of skin and blue cloth, always carefully concealed, even from the eyes of the priests and the Levites who carried it. God has said to have spoken with Moses from between the two cherubim on the ark's cover. When at rest, the tabernacle was set up, the holy ark was placed under a veil and covering of the staves is crossing the middle size bar to hold it up. This is all talking about them two. I go back. This is all talking about these two gold things, and they put a veil over it and all that old nonsense. That's all this is discussing. Okay, so let me go back to where I was at. This goes on. Now we're going to go into another idiotic story. Okay, now we're walking into Noah's Ark. Okay, because there wouldn't be no human existence without the great flood and Noah's Ark saving humanity. He saved all humanity and mankind and repopulated the whole planet. Okay, this is another fake story, but you hold it to your heart and you know it to be real, because I thought it was real. Okay, and Noah was 500 years old now, 500, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now this is right before God told him what to do. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters was upon the earth. It took him 100 years to build the ark. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives. That's 8 people. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and his 3 wives. That's 6 people, 3 sons, 3 wives, and Noah and his wife. That's 8 with him. Into the ark because of the waters of the flood. 15 cubits upward, the waters prevailed, and the mountains were covered. 15 cubits of water, a cubit is 1/2 feet. 15 cubits of water is nothing but 30 feet. I live in a 2-story house today. My house is taller than that. So 15 cubits, now you can look it up yourself. A cubit is 1.4, 1 foot 4 inches. And I'm going to show you that. I got graphs and all that type of stuff, so you can see that. 15 cubits upwards. Listen to me. Did the water prevail, and the mountains was cut. Now, do you know some of the highest mountains in the world is 19,000, 20,000 feet? 30 feet of water? Fish can swim in. The ocean is deeper than that. That fish still live in today. That's deeper than this. Swim on down, come on up. 15 cubits up, or did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. I can go to the nearest tree and sit there and laugh at this God's flood if I was back at that time. I can go to the top of the Mount Sinai that the so-called Moses was on. Okay? So this is incorrect and laughable. You see? Remember 15 cubits. And this is the fashion which you shall make of it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits. The breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. This is King James, or to let you know cubits. This is New Living Translation, the exact same verse. Make the boat 450 feet long, which is 300 cubics. You see it right here. 300 cubics, 1.5 feet and 300. It gives you this. 450. That's how long it was. 75 feet wide, right here. 50 cubics. See, 50 cubits, 1.5. You add that up, 75 feet and 45 feet in height. And the height of it, 30 cubics. 30 cubics is 45 feet. Very small boat. I mean, that's the length of a football field or a little bit bigger than that. Because a football field is 100 yards. It's 3 feet per yard. That's 300 feet. So this thing ain't no bigger than a football field. Not the stadium, just the field. So all the animals, all that would have to just step on the field, the grass or the turf, whatever field you're on. And everything on the planet would have to get on that. So this is idiotic. Again, religion develops insanity. But don't worry, I'm here for your superior awareness. I want to make you aware of these jokes, because they laugh. This is mythological. This is mythology. These are jokes. They behind your back laughing. They know the truth, but they milking you out of your financial exploitation. They exploiting your finances. So all this stuff is done for financial gain, exploitation of financial gain. So 1 cubit, 2 foot, 1.4, just like I said. See, 1.476. That's 1.5 feet. I don't care how you cut it. We're going to come here. Look at this. A European get into something, the news follow it. Look at this. ABC News, somebody went on and put this much wood together and got their own money and funded to show you how this ark would have looked. But this still itself, all this ain't enough to get every animal in the world there. And I'm sorry, it's just not. Okay, this is another thing I want you to see. That's Santa Maria. See, it's just about 100 foot. The Wyoming. These are great ships you might have heard of. The Titanic, this is 400. The Titanic is over 800, almost 1,000. This is about 1,000. Queen Mary trumps them all. It's 1,100, a little over 1,100 feet. And look at here go your Noah's Ark, right here. It's 450, but they put it by 500 feet to be generous. Nothing but 450 feet. I just showed you that. That's about here. They put it here. You know, they want to give it a little extra. That's all good. You couldn't fit them all in Queen Mary. See, these are the type of ships they held slaves in, but they still don't want to give that up today. They saying even the Titanic can't go about holding the type of slaves that people numbered down. Say, hey, we lost 450 million, 600 million, 500 million. They don't even want to get that up. Talking about where's the slave ships at? But we know what happened, so we don't have to go by the European categorization of what happened. So I mean, you got people like Dane Calloway. Shout out to the brother. He do his thing. But he's kind of lost if he thinks that we're aboriginals. That's nonsense. He's going on, he's making stuff talking about there's never been no slave. Atlantic slave trade was only a couple 100,000 people made it to America. Man, trash that nonsense. Shout out to the brother for doing his thing, but he's definitely wrong on that. Okay. This is 450 feet, like I just said, 300 cubics. Again, just letting you know. I know what I'm talking about. These graphs show you. A football field is 300 feet. Like I said, 100 yards. This is 150 feet bigger. This childish stuff needs to stop. This is childish understanding. You're grown. Every man is going to be held responsible for what he do. But you hide behind religion because, see, on Sunday, the pastor said, come on up to the altar. Everything you did all week, everything you did already, give it to the Lord. And then some of them go a step further than that. Say the Lord, he's already died for all your inequities and everything you're going to do. All you have to do is say you believe. The Lord already lost his blood for everything. You can crash a man, steal out his wallet, go rape his mother, and take your mother's eyes out and pluck her eyes out. Now we know this is immoral, but in a sense, with this doctrine and this understanding, that's what you're telling people. All the work has been done. God has died for everybody's salvation. He shed blood. for your sins. And that's a lie. So I'm gonna continue. This is how graphic it is. European, he's something else. And I don't mean no disrespect when I'm using the word European, but if I say European or brother, I'm talking about a black man or a European. I'm sorry, I'm talking about when I say the word brother, I'm talking about an African. See, they got me using modern terms like black man. There's no such thing. An African man. You know what I'm speaking about. You can use the word black if you want. But the European put this together. That's no disrespect. What I'm speaking about is a white gentleman or a foreign gentleman. It's no disrespect. I'm not saying no slanderous words. Some people say honky, cracker, all that. I'm not into that. Okay, I know those words, but I'm not into it. So if I wanted to disrespect them, you would see me use it. This is my platform. It's my channel. But I don't use that slanderous type of stuff because I'm trying to teach you something. There's no need for me to go into that. There's no need to worry about what I believe and what I can do. Don't worry about what I believe. The stuff I'm showing you, is it true? If it's not truth, then you put what's truth in its place. You show me the truth. Because I'm on my page talking about truth inside their theology, showing you all the lies they're doing and laughing behind your back. Look at this. Look how graphic this is. And this little old art. These people, look, it's rocks and stuff. This water is only 30 feet high. I just showed you that. I just explained that to you. So all they have to do, look, it's rocks and stuff it can't even cover. This is laughable stuff. I can stand on top of a house in 15 cubics, that's 1.5, 30 feet of water will drown the whole planet. Look at these birds. Birds still flying. See, they didn't want to, they put it graphic, the European, but he don't want to get too graphic. He don't show you children. It was churning. It was churning out here. See? Where's the churn? Act like just grown folks went down in this catastrophe. This is sick, man. This is very sick. And when I said last week, this is sick, you're not in this story about Adam and Eve and that first, when you first born into sin, original sin. I said I'm speaking to you, the European, the African, whoever. You're not involved in this story. So I'm not just speaking to the African race. Though those are the people that I know and I really craft my stuff for them. But the European, if you want to accept this understanding to be what I say it is because it's true, then go ahead. You're welcome to it. It's just knowledge. Now let's continue. This is sick. Now look, here goes some hard facts about this stuff now. Because you're looking at the pictures and thinking, oh, he putting his own little slang on. That whatever you want to think. I have information to back it up inside their theology. I didn't write none of this. This comes straight off Google and all the rest of that stuff. But when you go find associations of Noah's Ark, you can find stories like this. Searches for the Ark have been made from at least the time of Eusebius. See, this is a historian who lived after the time of this Jesus' death, the so-called God, Jesus' death. Eusebius Pamphili, this is his name. Or Eusebius from Caesarea. See, they use these names to try to say, hey, this guy wrote about it. No, this guy goes along with the story. He's an invisible ghost just like everybody else. These are incarnated names. This is Eusebius Pamphili or Eusebius from Caesarea. He wrote about this from 275 to 339 of the Common Era. If you want to say AD, Anno Domini, or after the death of your Lord, you're welcome to it. But I would say 275 ABCE. And like I told you last week, that's after the BCE dates ran out. So, and believers, and believers in the Ark continue to search for in modern time. They continue to search for it in modern time. This is laughable. Many searches have been mounted for the Ark, but non-confirmable physical proof of the Ark has ever been found. There is no scientific evidence that Noah's Ark existed as it described in the Bible, nor is there any evidence in the geological record for the biblical global flood. Again, there is no, nor is there evidence. There is no, basically, these are my words, evidence for the geological record for the biblical global flood. There's no records, geological records for this world flood that I just showed you here. I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way. That I just showed you here. There's no record for this. But every culture has a flood story because they sticking to this Bible. People use the Bible as history, and it's not. It's historical worthless, like I told you. But that's another discussion, and I'm gonna get to that. We're gonna get around to that. And go some more historicity. While a literal Noah's Ark did not exist, is there geological evidence of a biblical flood? Believers throughout history have tried to rationalize the ark existence. The first edition of Encyclopedia Britannica from 1771 describes the ark's existence as fact. Look at this. They always want to go against nature, go against fact, go against historical proof that none of this happened and just make it happen because they want to keep this theology and all this lies going. It's $1 billion a year corporation. Religion is big business. It also attempts to explain how the ark could house all living animal types. Budo and Kircher have proved geometrically that taking the common cubics as 1.5 feet, like I said, the ark was abundantly sufficient for all the animals supposed to be logged in it. they go crazy. The number of species animals will be found much less than is generally imagined, not amounting to 100 species. This is a lie. Of quadrupeds. It also endorses a supernatural explanation for the flood, stating that many attempts have been made to account for the deluge by means of natural causes. But these attempts have only tended to discredit philosophy and render the authors ridiculous. All this stuff I went on and said about the gentleman said this, they can fit. It wasn't over 100 species of four-legged animals, quadrupeds. So that stuff can work. Hold on, it's a fact. This renders the authors ridiculous. It discredits their philosophy and renders them ridiculous. This is sad. Now we're going to go to another idiotic teaching, the Tower of Babel. This is a picture in 1563. It's about the same time that the first picture of Jesus came out, which is Caesar Borgia. So Pope John VIII, he commissioned all that stuff. Look at this crap. Oh, we're going to build a tower that goes all the way to heaven. This only stood 300 feet. When I read it in the Bible, I'm like, how tall was it? 300 feet is up to, okay. This is childish, idiotic stuff. But the story behind this is said to be the people after the flood, they got together. It was one type of people, and they spoke one language, only one people. If we stay into tradition, they spoke one language. And they put together stuff. They said, let's put together something all the way to the heavens. And this God comes down and say, hey, he ain't got no power, but you think he's all power. Let's go down there. He told some men. Who was he talking to? Let's go down there and see what they up to. Come down here. They talk in one language. Say, oh, they talking one language. It's going to be nothing. Go down there, scatter their language out. Scatter them, put them all across the planet, shake the people up, change their language. And that's why they call this the Tower of Babel. Because they was speaking one language until this God that you said is sanctifying your life and he's your Lord and Savior and helping everybody. He destroys these people in one language on purpose, scatter them all across the land, all the world. And this is called the Tower of Babel. If he was so righteous, shouldn't it have been the other way around? Speaking one language, they all getting along. They made a nice tower. Leave it at that. But that ain't what he did. So let's continue. Listen to this. This is Genesis in the King James. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. Listen. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. So they would have been all right. Go to, this is weird speaking, this old English. Let us go down there and confound their language. Let's tear it up. that they may not understand one another's speech. What is this? This sounds like the work of the devil. This is out the Bible. I'm not playing with the Bible. I'm reading you scripture. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore, the name is called Babel, because the Lord did there confound their language, all of the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. This is sick. This is sick. I mean, let that sit in there. This is sick. Please explain this to me in some righteous Christianity way to try to continue to make me believe that this is a righteous book. This is sick. I'm sorry. This is sick. There's nothing religious. Like I said, don't talk about. No, this is sick. It's not the word of God. This is the word of some evil men about God. It's almost sound like the devil took his pen out and wrote a book about God. Just stop believing in it. This stuff is crap. But you know what? I have to take that back. I'm just showing you what's going on. You can believe what you want. I didn't give you Jesus. I didn't give you Allah. I didn't give you Jehovah. None of that, Yahweh. You can have what you want. I'm showing you the mockery they pull to behind your back, pulling the veil over your head each day and laughing. But you believe with all your heart. See, they don't believe this stuff, but you do. They just preach it to make money. Reconstruction of the Edomeniac, whatever this is. This is just the Tower of Babel, which was 91 meters, 300 feet in height. See, I went and looked for the construction of the Tower of Babel, and this word must means that. I don't know how to really pronounce it. Forgive me, I apologize for that, but that's all good. This is 300 feet. This is supposed to be this, okay? The Tower of Babel. That's what this is supposed to be. This, same thing. I got plenty of a different one I'm going to show you. It's 300 feet, but they said, let's make it all the way, make a house to the heaven. You need to go higher than that. If you believe in this stuff, heaven is much higher than 300 feet. So we will continue and go another one. This is in 1594. This is in the museum. It's the same time that the picture of Jesus first come. Because once they got to in 1439, once the Vatican started being built, they bring all these pictorial pictures out after that. So after the 16th century, because it was in the 1500s, that's the 16th century, you start seeing pictorial depictions of the people in the biblical doctrine. They didn't have no pictures at first, none. If you look before the 14th century and 13th century, none of this stuff existed. So don't let nobody say, hey, they have a Bible in BC. That's a man-made lie. It's a fictitious man-made lie. Okay, now we're going to go to the wisest man in the Bible. It was King Solomon. Now, Jeremy, you call a man wise, you got to show some wise things he did. His daddy was a rapist. His daddy is David. He slept with Bathsheba. But God still, he's known as for slaying Goliath. You see? So they find some kind of way to make these evil men into great people with the God understanding when God is a man in the Bible. His daddy is David. He slept with Bathsheba. He's seen his own, I believe it was his brother or one of his army generals. And he's seen his brother's wife, Bathsheba, just taking a bath. And she was a drop dead woman like that, looking gorgeous. And he said, you know what, I want to sleep with her. You tell one of his men, put David, go put the man that Bathsheba is married to. I forget their names at this current time, but I know the story direct. I just can't bring about his name, but I apologize for that. Put him on the front line, murder him. You try to get him murdered and things of that nature. So his father was a rapist, and so was King Solomon. And I'm gonna show you some of the weird things he did. Be wise. Look at this. Artist interpretation of the first temple of Jerusalem never existed, but this is the depiction they have. But none of this stuff never existed. You have to keep in your mind. I've just showed you idiotic beliefs and behavior because you have to be insane to be in this religion. The Ark of the Covenant never existed, never been found. Tower of Babel never existed, never been found. Noah's Ark never existed, never been found. So you calling me wrong, call me out on it. I'm coming inside your theology, your book, which was ours just a little while ago, but I don't want it. I don't believe in stuff like that no more. Belief is for a fool. You have no knowledge when you believe in nothing. Belief. Be able to be lied to. The first word after the B is lie. Lie. You have to be able to be lied to stay under this belief. So let that sink in. According to the Hebrew Bible, Solomon Temple, also known as the first temple, was the holy temple. Okay? This is all Hebrew speech. Ancient Jerusalem before its destruction. Now this goes, look at this. Nebuchadnezzar too. He comes in 587. This is supposed to be BCE, before the Common Era, before your Christ. It tears the whole place up, okay, before they replace it with the second temple in the 6th century BC. None of this stuff has ever been found. They put some old new stuff out there. Now you got new stuff out there now that is very new. So the first temple period is supposed to be 1000 to 586 BCE. Just put dates together. They ain't got no, they can't, this is crap. They cannot substantiate this crap. They just put it together. You ain't gonna look for it anyway. That's how they feel. They laughing at you in your face and behind your back. You're not a researcher. You're not a historian. You don't even have time to read the scriptures they gave. You're not gonna go look behind their back. You're just gonna stay in the book and believe it. You're boxed in a cube. The book is the cube. Look at this about this first wise man. Look at it. 2 women arguing over a baby. He say, give me a knife. That's stupid. You name the man the wisest and all. You have to show me something wise that he did. This is just, if you call me wise, people gonna say, what did he do wise? Why I can't question this? Show me what he did wise. You got 2 people arguing, these 2 young ladies here. And he say, that's my baby. Say, that's my baby. Both want the baby. And he say, give me a knife. Run over there, give me a knife. And this man here, following this fool's instructions, he go get a knife and get ready to cut the baby in half. One yell out, ah! And he said, well, this got to be that woman's baby. She yelled out like a mother. That is stupid. You can take it as wise, but I won't. Let's carry on. The judgment of Solomon. This goes on what I'm telling you about in the Hebrew Bible. King Solomon Israel ruled between 2 women. Okay, he ruled between 2 women claiming to be the mother of a child. This is what I just showed you. Solomon revealed their true feelings and relationship to the child by suggesting to cut the baby in half. Give me a knife. Which each woman will receive half. With this strategy, he was able to discern. So they want to use words now, make you say, oh, he was wise. This is a fool. To discern the non-mother as a woman who entirely approved of this proposal, while the actual mother begged the sword might be what? Shithit. This is an old English word. And the child committed to the care of her rival. Some consider the approach to justice and a archetypical example of an impartial judge spaying wisdom and making a ruling. This is a bunch of old English jargon and weird speech, but you can have that. This is saying he decided, they trying to make it wide. I cut him in half, and the woman who accepts this proposal, this is what this is saying, whoever accepts the proposal, she's not the mother. So the mother begged, no, cut him in half, please. Or he takes that sentiment, he say, wait a minute, this woman cared for the baby more because she's screaming, I don't cut the baby in half. It might just have a weak stomach, who knows? A lot of people can't deal with that. See, but back then at the European, he was barbaric. So he'd cut a baby in half, no sweat. Let's carry on. This is foolish thinking, idiotic, nonsensical garbage that you want to accept and put down in your life and die with. But you can have it. Okay. Now this is about King Solomon, again, the greatest, wisest man around. And the biblical accounts of this royal meeting, both the books of King 1 and the book of Second Chronicles, Chronicles 2, there is no hint of any romantic sexual aspect of the encounter, which is depicted as a monarchical meeting, affairs of state. So it was two. What was going on was like it was Queen Sheba, but they took her as a monarch. She had so much power they had to deal with her as a man. So this was looked upon as nothing but two powers meeting. That's all this was. The only reference which has sometimes been interpreted as referring to love between Solomon and the Queen Sheba is found in the book of Song of Songs, whose authorship is attributed to Solomon. Although the story is not detailed, it has over the ages inspired many legends and stories. In the Jewish Islamic tradition, in Islamic literature, the queen is known as Bilqis and told that she converted from the worship of the sun to the worship of God. Thereafter, either married Solomon himself, of a Chinese king and a Peri. I don't know what this is saying. Oh, after she married Solomon or a handmaiden or a tribesman. I'm sorry. In Persian folklore, they go on to say he married the daughter of this Chinese person. The story of the Queen of Sheba acquired special importance and impact in Ethiopia tradition and history. But you got to remember, this is a lie. There she is referred to as Makedia, and it is believed that she bore Solomon a son who was the founder of the Ethiopian royal dynasty of emperors. Okay, that would be Menelik, if I'm not mistaken. Now look at the story now King Solomon did. He invited her over. He fed her foods with nothing but spices. This is all spices. This is what they held them in back in the day. Invited her over, made his chefs give her the spiciest food in the world. Then invited her over to stay, said, hey, because he raped her. That's what I'm going to get down to keep it in layman's term. If you take anything in my house, I cannot, uphold that I won't take stuff from you, because they went up under this agreement. As long as you don't, I guess she was known as a rapist. She said, don't try to sleep with me. I spent the night. She said, as long as you don't take nothing out of my house, I won't disregard. I won't disagree with our understanding. So if you don't try to take something from me, I'll spend the night with you, sir. If you don't take something from my palace, I won't disregard our mutual agreement. Now, here's a story right here. According to the narrative of the Kebra Nagast, King Solomon invited the Queen of Sheba to a banquet where he served her spicy food. Listen to this rapist. He had a plan. This is in the Bible. This is biblical. All this story go with the Bible. In order to induce her thirst, he suggested that she stay in his palace overnight, and she conditioned her acceptance that he swear that he will not take her by force. Listen to this. He will not rape her. She said, I'll stay with you if you don't rape me. He accepted the condition that she would not take anything from his house by force. The queen agreed slightly, offended that he should suggest that he, as a rich and powerful monarch, would engage in stealing. He took it. He took back, like, how dare you say I would take something from you? However, in the middle of the night, the queen awoke, her mouth very dry, and took a jar of water to quench her thirst. The king appeared. He was waiting. That nigga was hiding behind the wall. Excuse my language. The man was hiding behind the wall. Okay. So he warned her that she had broken the oath by taking the water, the most valuable of material possession. Water is the most valuable thing you can have. You took my water, therefore I'm taking you. Thus the queen was required to free the king of his promise. They spent the night together. That's sad. She had to lay down and take her garment off, her silk robe, and say, hey, I took some water from you here. This is what you wanted. Go on and rape me up and down. The outcome of the night was the birth of the son by the Maya Bela stream and the province of Hamashine, Eritrea. This is Ethiopia. The story that the child later on became Melanek. This is what I just said. Melanek is their son. Emperor of Abyssinia. It's the first name of Ethiopia. He was the founder of the dynasty that would reign in Ethiopia until the Emperor Haile Selassie, this is Nipsey Hussle's grandfather, was overthrown in 1974. The book also tells how the Ark of the Covenant was brought to Ethiopia, this is funny, by Melanek, and how the Ethiopian nation converted from the worship of the sun, moon, and stars to the the sun, moon, and stars to that of the Lord God of Israel. This is sad. And this all supposed to happen in 1974. I'm sorry, that's when this is when it was overthrown. This goes back to Solomon and Sheba. So that was quite many years before that. This is supposed to be King Solomon bringing over Sheba. Look at this. Sheba was laced in gold. He got an old funky robe. See, looking like an Arab or some old funky man that has been in a robe. Look what this woman have on, Queen of Sheba, so-called from Ethiopia. Look at this. Look at all this veil, diamonds. Look at this crown, man. Okay, another idiotic story, but let's carry on. This is them meeting again. They never told you. They act like it's a love affair. This led to rape. Come on in. I got you come to a banquet. Fed her all spicy food and knew she was gonna get some water and raped her. This is another one of them meetings, so-called, like I said. Okay. Solomon was said to have sinned by acquiring many foreign wives, probably that he raped. Solomon's descent into idolatry, that's worship of men and all that, just like Jesus. And it goes on. This is a painting of that. So the Hebrew credits him as the builder of the first temple in Jerusalem, which is a lie. Being in the 4th year of his reign, using the vast wealth he and his father had accumulated, he dedicated the temple to Yahweh, the God of Israel, which is Yahweh is an understanding of Judaism. It's Jesus and God, the same as man. He is portrayed as great in wisdom, wealth, and power beyond either of the previous kings of the country, but also as a king who sinned. His sins included idolatry, marrying foreign women. Okay. Sorry about that. Marrying foreign women and ultimately turning away from Yahweh. And they led the kingdoms being torn into two during the reign of son Rehoboam. Okay. Solomon is the subject of many later references and legends, most notably the first century apocryphal work known as the Testament of Solomon. And the New Testament, he is portrayed as a teacher of wisdom, excelled by your God, Jesus, a man, and as arrayed in glory, but excelled the lilies of the field in later years in mostly non-biblical circles. Solomon also came to be known as a magician. They said this is blasphemous, and an exorcist. This is worshiping and bringing back, invoking souls and spirits with numerous amulets and medallion seals dating from the Hellenistic period, invoking his name. Okay, so I'm going to show you a seal of Solomon right here. This is a seal of Solomon. I guess he would give this to people, and that was like a seal of protection that they say, oh, you with Solomon. He would give that to people. That's what they're saying. On a Solomon seal, I think he had 6 or 7 seals. Not really sure. But this is from last week when I was showing you the age of the biblical patriarchs. This is Methuselah. This is supposed to be a depiction of Methuselah. See, it's only a bust. This is a concrete bust or some type of clay. And they had to make something up like this because, of course, he never been found. No name never been found in the Bible. So they put this together to try to act like this is what he would look like. But if a man was 1,000 years old, because this is the oldest man in the Bible, Methuselah, 969, I believe, he would look worse than this. So that's just from last week, like I say, to reiterate. And that's about it. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna stop sharing. So let me say right here. And I should be back. You know, that was it. That was number 2. I have plans on doing 3, so I'm gonna do one more, maybe in a couple of days. I'm gonna let that one sit for a little while so you can go through the information that I gave you. And like I say, I thank the ancestors for me having a chance to come to you and just really reiterate some of the information that they left us. A lot of people don't go into this type of work, and that's not their calling, but I believe this is mine, and this is what I'm going to be doing from now on. So I just want to pay homage to, again, Dr. John Henry Clarke, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen, the elder Walter Williams. I thank them for giving me a platform to stand on. I'm out. Slow Kenny Russell, Kanum Kasum Moon. Thank you.